this is so funny because uh I also dated a hoarder, and let me tell you, brother, it is a fucking pain in the ass. As you probably have seen, or as you may know, I'm also pretty much a minimalist to this point. I'd say I have like four hoodies. I definitely only wear like one or two pairs of sweatpants. I have one pair of jeans, and I own like 50 pairs of shoes, just like you, but I wear one
Where
pair of
one, me
classic
too.
old school Vans. That's it,
Me too.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and the thing about that is like it's like each one of those little pieces of item or whatever that's in that closet is a representation for the person we're talking about, is a representation of like a dopamine hit or like a momentary like feeling of approval or whatever. It's like they needed it in that moment and they didn't do any like planning down the road about how they wouldn't need it, and they didn't worry about the financial hit they were going to take because in that moment that's what they need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Manic.
right.
That's fucking
The
manic.
it is manic. What's interesting though
By the way,
is
folks,
that
welcome to the podcast. Sorry,
yeah,
this is
welcome to
a
the
brief. I mean,
podcast.
we're just getting right to it today, folks. So enjoy. Anyway, continue.
Folks, today just we're talking about stuff. We're talking about clutter. We're talking about ways to declutter ourselves and our mind. and
And I will be
and
smoking tobacco periodically throughout the podcast. So please, if you partake in the tobacco smoke, then join along. If not, then please just listen to the manic ramblings of one of my best friends here.
that's a pretty good way to clear the mind though, is occasional smoking of tobacco, right?
Tobacco, yes, so tobacco. Um, we've talked about this on one of the other podcasts, but I really do think like, all right, so this is actually a good segue. I have a buddy, Nick, of Nick,
Yeah.
right? The construction guy, electrician guy. So Nick is a funny guy. And I believe there's people that exist. I'm kind of coming to a giant conclusion with this, I promise, but it's going to take a couple of turns. So just bear with me here. But my
Please.
buddy Nick, he's a good guy, right? But he's a really stubborn motherfucker. And as with stubborn motherfuckers, you form opinions and you convince yourself of things that may or may not be factual, and you live by those set of rules that you have created, right? It's what's kept you alive. It's what's helped you survive through trauma, through bad jobs, bad relationships, bad family, whatever, like whatever the case, right? Moving around, being broke, all the things he experienced, he was able to survive through it by doing that. I say all that to say that how you do one thing is how you do everything, and stubbornness seeps into everything he does. So I think there's people in the world that have convinced themselves that weed is this like, oh my god, it's this gateway thing. It makes you lazy. It'll take away all your inhibitions, or it'll take away all your ambition. Excuse me, the alcohol takes away your inhibitions, but it'll take away your ambition to do anything. You'll fucking sink into the couch like that one bitch in the infomercial from when we were kids, right?
Yeah,
And it's
this
just
is your
like,
brain on drugs, right?
yeah, the eggs in the pan, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Right.
So, and by the way, I've had some weed like that, so it does definitely happen, but it's not every time. In fact, if anyone's selling anything like that again, I mean tobacco. Um, sorry, we don't know.
You're
I mean,
like,
we're in
actually,
California.
yeah, you're like, I've tried laced PCP.
Yeah, no, Angel Dust is one of my favorites, folks. I've seen God, I have met him, and I don't even know if what he is. He's part black, but we don't need to get into this right now. Look at the Shroud of Turin. Anyway, so I say all that to say that there's people out there in the world that have convinced themselves that they are only an upper guy, right? Or they're only a downer dude or girl or whatever, right? And with that being said, anytime someone who's like a cocaine, alcohol, nicotine guy tries fucking weed, it's like the opposite effect of how they get fucked up. So they
Mhm.
immediately have like a panic attack negative reaction, right? So this is all
Yeah.
coming together because this is the funny part of the story is coming up right here. So my buddy Nick very rarely smokes, and he probably smoked a lot, or with his other friends or whatever. But the most that he smoked in the current group of friends that he has was with me, from what I understand. And it's been a handful of times. He hasn't smoked a lot, but he smoked a handful of times. And one of the times, I had some good shit. So I had him do this thing that I do, which is I call it a slingshot. So what I do is I get a nice little bowl of tobacco packed, and I get the Benjamin, the Benjamin, exactly, the pen.
The
Um,
Benjamin.
and what I do is you take,
The blinker.
yeah, you take a blinker, right, all the way, so it's like a 7 to 10 second hit depending on what kind of battery you got, and then on the same breath you take the binger.
So
Now,
your friend who doesn't smoke weed as much wanted to do this.
no, 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 this is what I do.
Okay, you're gonna lead it into you making your friend do this though,
No,
right?
no, no, of course not, because
Oh,
he
okay.
saw me do it and he said he doesn't even think he has half the lung for that. So we did like a little relay race, like it was like a 4x4. He could hand off the baton in the middle kind of thing. And I almost like birdied the hit for him because his little fucking bitch lungs couldn't even like milk it to the top. So I had to milk it for him. It's the whole thing. Um, anyway, so he took one Benjamin hit, probably like like 3/4 of a blinker, I'd say. But then he took like maybe like a quarter of an 18-inch bong hit. Like, I used to have the good size one, right? So like he probably took about a quarter or maybe a third of that thing fully milked to the brim, right? Which you're supposed to finish the whole thing. So he's taking less than a hit, just so we're clear. I mean, my hits are a little bit bigger than some people's. I get what we're talking about here, but point is that he took less than what I would consider a hit. Um, as soon as he took the hit, for the next 10 minutes, he was in the most enjoyable, like laughing mood. He coughed a little bit and he was like, "Oh, dude, it fucked my lungs up." I'm like, "Dude, you're fine. Like, think about it.
You're
You're
good.
fine, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You're right. I'm good." So I brought him back to earth. He's having fun, chilling. And then about 9 minutes and 23 seconds, he says, "We should go get some food." So, it takes us about 20 seconds to load up in the car because I was immediately like, fuck yeah, dude, that's what you do when you get high. You
Oh
go get
no.
food.
Oh
So
man.
I'm going to drive because I'm obviously.
I just imagine being, we'll get into that, talking about being in a
Wait,
car when you're
go
high as
ahead. Let's just
fuck.
segue real quick so people really feel this because this is like, go ahead.
Dude, you painting the story saying that your friend is like basically coming up, right? Like
Yeah.
he's sort of it's waiting to really kick in. Like maybe he's like a little high
Yeah.
from
The
just like
colors, the colors are getting a little brighter. The world's getting a little brighter,
exactly,
warmer.
but
He's getting the fuzziness, but he's not baked yet.
the worst thing that you can do is be in a car. Like that shit is terrible because well, I'll talk about some stories with that, but every single time that I've gotten ridiculously high, be it weed or like when I was going to raves years ago, acid, like mushrooms, like you're having a great time out in the world and then you get in the car and your Satan's gonna get your ass, you know? Like you're gonna get absolutely just butt fucked by everything in your life that you've ever
Okay.
hated,
So
you know?
what okay, I don't understand that concept. So help me understand.
You're a
I'm sure there's
professional,
people at
Brian.
home that understand
Yeah.
it, but just for me and for others that don't?
You're a professional, and I think that there's something to be said about being the driver. Like you feel like you're in a bit of control, right?
Sure.
But if you're
Sure.
a passenger, it's like a level too. If you're the front seat passenger, you're not having a great time. It's not that bad. If you're in the back seat on the right or left hand side, it's terrible. If you're in the back seat in the middle, that shit is you might as well kill yourself. Like it's that bad. Like
Jesus.
it's horrible.
So
But
why? Just because you're
assuming your friend, assuming we'll get back into your story, but
okay.
assuming he's in the passenger seat, right?
Yeah, it's just
Probably.
him and I. It was in my old, I want to say, God, this must have been when I had like a Camry. It was the
But it
Camry
doesn't
I
matter
had.
what level of high, like it doesn't at that point, if you're you can be you pass a certain amount of high that just being in a car, period, is like it feels like a roller coaster going into a Epstein's Island,
Right.
which then goes into a furnace, you know? And so it's terrible. It's terrible, man. I've literally like had mental breakdowns being weed high, like super high off like a gravity bong, which I'll talk about in a second,
Okay.
where I've had to ask my friend if I can walk home, and I've walked home 5 miles instead of be in the car.
In
The
San
car,
Francisco or in Connecticut?
Connecticut, where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was in like high
Which
school, I
a
had to
five
walk
mile
home.
walk is like the difference between houses out there, right? Like, isn't that like a pretty
Kinda, yeah,
baseline?
yeah, exactly. But sorry, continue. I wanna add
No, I
more
mean,
to this.
it's a good
So
point. It's not like it's a
so
five
what
mile.
happened? So he's ridiculously high. You guys get in the car.
Well, okay, yeah. So, I mean, as you know, well, let me just ask real quick. I mean, what's the difference between when you've been too drunk in a car before, right? I like you kind of just get sick and throw up. Is that
Well,
kind of that?
driving and then I kill a family. Yeah,
Is
but
it that?
then
Well, not when you're driving. I meant when you're just drunk and you get driven somewhere. Jesus
no,
Christ.
yeah. So being drunk, like being like having someone DD you, which I've luckily never done. I've called an Uber, you know.
Wait, you don't have
But
people drive you?
no, no, no. I've only called Uber. I don't want to rely on like friends. I've never been the guy to like. I feel like it's really embarrassing to call somebody and be like, "Can you pick me up? I'm fucked up," you
But
know?
that's what you're doing with Uber. You're just paying them money too.
That's true, but I don't. But I only see that guy for like 10 minutes, you
Yeah, but
know.
that guy might pick you up a few times. It's a small city, you know what I
Which I
mean?
have gotten before, actually, and
I
both times
bet.
I was fucked up. So,
They're like,
no,
this
but
guy tips well
being
when he's
drunk,
drunk.
it's not being drunk is not it's not pleasant because you're in a moving vehicle and you're feeling like super like hungover or like really sick to your stomach. But
Sure.
being high, like peaking off weed, like peaking off like a drug, like acid, and being in a confined space that moves that you can't control, that's not your body. That's a machine, and then you start spiraling. If you're me, you start thinking this is a machine that could kill somebody. Like, what if my night where I have the tragic car accident that rides into a guardrail or deletes an elementary school group of kids like as we're driving, like what if that's right now, and it's just like you just get in sort of this warp, this loop of terror when you're in the car. It's horrible, it's horrible.
No, I mean, okay, I totally understand that. And to be fair, the first few times I smoked weed, I had like the greatest experience, and I was in a car with people that were older than me. So, I mean, I really can't relate to that. I'm not trying to be better than anybody. I just genuinely can't relate to that. So I empathize with people who like suffer because that seems like the craziest.
In fairness, it seems to me like you've had a very, very like relaxed, normal, and sort of healthy like relationship with a certain substance. Like you haven't
No, no,
freaked
no.
out too much.
Healthy is incorrect. I definitely have abused it at times. Like
Hmm.
you'll see me. I'll just be sitting here and like it gets out of control. I got to control myself when things like that happen. It's a good thing I'm not doing that right now. You know what I mean? But anyway, no, I've not always had the healthiest relationship. I've done it too much, especially in
I
times of
mean, as
stress.
far as the quality of high goes, like I don't think you've ever had a trip where you've gone fetal position crying, have you?
That's because I don't tell anybody.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Brother, you got to be a man in today's day and age, bro. You can't, if you shit yourself in the middle of the night legitimately because you're convulsing, sweating, and thinking about your past, present, and future all in one moment, you can't get up and tell your girlfriend about that. She's going to think you're a pussy. You can't tell your mom about that. She's going to think you don't have your life in control. You got to fucking bottle that shit up, brother. Some of the craziest
I
trips I've
disagree
ever
with
had, I've
that,
had
but
alone.
I'm sure they've all been alone, most
Yeah.
of them, because every
Yeah.
time I've had, other than that brownies one that I told you on our DUI podcast when I like forgot how
Which
to breathe.
this one might
Remember?
turn into, by the way.
Oh shit.
At least for
For
me.
you, for you. Uh, that I think I told you like my sort of tick when I've gotten, I don't, again, I haven't smoked weed since you basically, but which folks was years ago. But
At least like 3.5, 4, right?
yeah, but about then, yeah, yeah. But like my tick, whenever I get too high, is I always forget how to breathe. And in a car too, you got like a seatbelt on, It's like warm. The climate's never what you want. All these bright lights that are passing you. I want you to finish your story, but one
Wait, wait,
time
wait,
I
wait, wait,
took a
real quick, caveat, and this is an
yeah.
important question to really like lay the foundation for people so they understand what type of a person you are. What's the ideal temperature in a car? Because you don't even have your own yet. But when you get into a rental, you do a few things. You set your mirrors, you set the
I
seat, the
drove
steering wheel.
today. I did a rental today. Yeah.
Okay, so
I
what's the temp? What do you keep it at?
68.
AC on or off?
68 AC on,
Indoor or outdoor?
indoor.
All right, perfect. This guy knows what he's doing here. I
Is
know a
that what you do?
motherfucker. Yeah, I know a motherfucker. I do 68, 69, 70, depending on, you know what I
Around
mean? But
there. Yeah,
usually,
that
yeah.
range. Yeah.
No, but I know a motherfucker that'll run window defogger outside air. I'm like, who the fuck? What kind of psychopath, dude? What the fuck? Literally, you're a serial killer. Who the fuck does that, dude? My grandpa's air conditioning is better than that. He runs 255. You know about 255? He makes this joke all the time. I'm so sorry, folks, if you've heard
No,
this
no,
before.
I don't know this.
255 is two windows down, 55 miles an hour on the freeway. That's your air conditioning.
That's a
Even that's
great
better. That's better than the defogger fucking outside air, dude. What kind of serial
defogger
killer shit?
out.
And the AC. Like you're just conditioning what, dude? What the fuck? You're conditioning engine air.
Speaking of having the same Uber twice, one time recently, during it was the time I was in LA before the fires, which was like that with a month before the fires. I was in downtown LA and I got the same Uber twice in a row. And I got in his Uber, dude. He had the details are important. He had this like red sort of mats in his car. It was super black. It had like a purple hue. Like he definitely like did custom cosmetic mods to his car,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
The AC setup, I'm not joking, 85 degrees, AC on, and and his window down. So, and he's
What
playing
the
like
fuck?
like light skin music, right? Like
Well,
smoking out the window or whatever song that is, you know.
smoking out the window is light skin music.
I don't know. I don't know. You know the type like Bruno Mars shit. You know what I mean? Like
Wait, wait,
I
wait,
don't know.
wait, 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 wait. You think Bruno Mars is light
I'm not
skin
getting
music?
into a I'm not getting into a fucking
No,
no,
wait,
light
this
skin
is
music is like
important.
Drake. Light skin music is like Drake. But yeah. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
but
but Bruno Mars and Drake are not even the only reason
that's
they're
true.
ever in
I
the
don't know
same
why I
room is the
said light skin
Emmys.
music. Smoking out the window. Who is that? Is that Bruno Mars?
Smoking out the window, is that not? Oh, that's smoking in the boys' room. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that old hillbilly song.
It's
The
sort of
smoking in the
it's
boys'
music
room.
like One Wish, like by Ray J, right?
One,
It's
I have not heard this.
well, we can get to that. The point is he's playing a very specific kind of genre, right?
Okay, but okay, so he's playing
AC in the
fuckboy music,
car,
or what are
yeah,
we saying?
fuckboy music, kind of like
Okay,
he's right, he's Ubering at downtown LA, but like if a girl is looks single, he might try and smash that night. You know, he might
sure,
try and
sure,
instead of hey, switch your pin to my fucking apartment, you know, type shit,
sure, sure,
right?
sure, sure.
So anyway, so I'm in this Uber and it's like the weirdest fucking AC setup I've ever seen in my life, where it's 85 degrees AC on, his window down, red mats, purple hue,
I
Ray
mean, this
J
is
type
like
music playing,
this is
right?
the craziest like Fast and Furious taxi ride I've ever heard of in my life.
It was wild. So then, dude, so then he, you know, drops me off, whatever, thank you. The next fucking night, bro, his name looked familiar. The next night, I call an Uber. The same looking car pulls up. I open the door and I see the red mats and the purple hue. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that I was crammed in the back seat because I sat behind him because my girlfriend sat in the passenger and he
Okay.
had his shit all the way out. So I was crammed, right?
Dude,
So
I
the
would have made
next
her sit in the back, dude. Why
it
would
was
you let her?
fast. It was like a fast, like we just kind of got into the car, right? It wasn't even like I wasn't even thinking. So I open
Damn.
the door, I see the red mats, the purple hue. I hear the, you know, if I had one wish playing or whatever, right? And I
Wait, how does it
see
go? How does it go? How
and
does it go?
you can run it back in the recording. And so And then I
Oh fuck.
and then I sit down, I'm crammed. I'm like, is this the same car as yes? Is this the same fucking Uber ride as yesterday? And sure enough, I
Oh.
see 85 AC on, his window down.
I mean, how many
And
Uber
so I
rides?
said, yo, dude, I think we got you yesterday. And he goes, nah, man. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, nah, that must have been somebody else. I haven't done Uber driving in like shit, it must be like a week now. And I was like, I literally said to him, I was like, why? I said, this is the exact same car as yesterday. I said, you have red mats. And I remember that.
Okay, I don't
And
know.
he
Wait,
was
wait.
like,
I don't know where this story goes, but just imagine this guy has like a split personality and he drives around on Uber. All of his different personalities are Uber drivers, but he
It only
drives
gets
around like
more,
five
yeah,
different days a night and shit. Just oh my god, holy shit!
it
All right, go
only
ahead.
gets
Sorry,
more
my bad, my bad.
confusing. It only gets more confusing, dude, because I started him with like, oh, well, I recognize the mats and the the music. And he was like, nah, man, that wasn't me. And I was like,
Like,
dude,
is this Rodney? Who the fuck is this?
yeah, he kind of reminded me of Rodney. Which folks we'll get to. We'll have a whole Rodney episode planned. We'll get to that. Um, so then uh, he goes, dude, or no, I said to him, I was like, dude, I recognize you because I'm just as crammed back here as I was the ride yesterday. I said, that's no knock to you. That's my bad for not, switching seats with her. And he was like, bro, I wasn't me. Like it wasn't me. And he's like, I haven't driven Uber in like a week. And I was like, and then I kept seeing 85 degrees AC on, window down, right?
Yeah,
And I was like, who else has that kind of fucking setup, right?
it's a
So
crazy
then
configuration.
I finally said to him, I was like, bro, I don't know why you're lying to me. I literally had you yesterday as a driver. It was 85 degrees AC on, window down.
And the
And
whole time, by the way, your girlfriend's uncomfortable as fuck in the passenger seat, like
yeah,
wondering if this guy's gonna make a right and drive you guys off of a cliff or something.
right, right. And he's like, at this point, he's kind of laughing, and he's like laughing a little too hard. And he's like, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, that wasn't me. Like, maybe you must have got me like last week. And I was like, I got you yesterday. So, anyways, it's been
Wait, why at no point did you pull up your previous ride and just be like, this is you?
no, I didn't think to do that, honestly. I didn't think to do that. But
See, this
until
is why you
after,
have so much trouble in your life because you don't know how to solve problems, Andrew.
until
We could do
after.
a whole podcast just on that.
So then we get to the we get to where we were going, and we were like, all right, see, man. Then we pulled up the thing, and we were like, it was the same guy. And to this day, I don't know why he wanted to lie to me, because 85 degrees AC on, window down his side is just the most unique configuration I've ever heard, you
Right,
know?
right.
So
Yeah,
I
maybe
was,
he thought you were like a cop or something. That's the only thing I'm get like I'm getting that vibe. Like maybe or maybe he thought you were like a J6er, or both.
yeah, or
And like
something.
I
I
don't
like
know. He
wanted
just
to
like
know
he
why.
didn't want you to know more about him. That's what was clear.
But he was telling me like where he lives and stuff, and like where he's from and shit. And he was like being very open about a lot of things. He was being really nice on the ride. He was like, "Oh, there's a known bump right here, haha." And then he was like, "Just brace yourself for a sec." And like he was being like a really nice guy, but for whatever reason, he was lying through his absolute teeth about the fact that I literally rode with him yesterday. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Anyways, I don't know. That's been months now, and I still think about it.
And
But
you
yeah,
haven't gotten him
85.
since?
No, that was in LA.
Oh, in
85
LA.
degree, 85 degrees, AC on, window down.
Bro, I mean,
Who
LA
is
is
this
so
friend?
strange. Huh?
I was gonna say, who is this friend that rides with the configuration that you said?
Oh, this is my buddy Jacob from yesterday.
Jacob does that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Does he do it on purpose?
I don't know, honestly. I don't fucking know.
What is the configuration again?
It's outside air and window defogger, like that front one that just comes through the top, like it's not even your air conditioning units. It's like the up by the window, you know what I'm talking about? Like it's the defogger, I think. That's literally what it is.
Outside air is nuts.
Outside air is nuts. Like the brake dust, the amount of exhaust, the amount of fucking metals that the Jews are putting in the air or whatever the fuck, whoever's doing it. You know, but kidding, folks, kidding. I'm fucking kidding. I'm fucking around, okay? But whoever's doing it, someone's doing something because I've lived in Southern California my whole life, and uh, I just happen to be in San Francisco, as you guys can see, for this podcast. But in general, I do live in Southern California, and the air quality, the air, the something's different. They got something
Yeah,
out
there's a lot of. I didn't know what smog was until I moved here, so
right. Yeah.
there
Or
is
yeah,
that.
you think it's bad here? China, Mexico have it way worse,
Shit.
and
All right. So
India
anyway,
too.
so your friend now gets in the car.
Well, okay, so yeah, so we've taken a few hits to this point. I've taken a few hits. He's taken the Benjamin and his little quarter hit or whatever, maybe third hit. So he says, "Let's go get food." So we're pulling out of my neighborhood, and it's 10 minutes and 1 second since that hit just went off. Right, since he blew out the last breath of smoke and felt that fucking that tightness in his chest that that sort of either puts hair on it or causes crippling anxiety immediately afterwards. Not really much in between. So that 10-minute mark rolls around, and I asked him, like, what do you want for food? And he kind of is normally a pretty sure guy. Like, even though he's stubborn, when it comes to stuff like that, he doesn't want to fuck around. He's just like, we're going here, we're doing this, or he's like, I want this. Like, it's easy, it's not like
He's not indecisive at all. He's
it's not like
very,
asking a woman
yeah.
what to eat. Exactly. Right. Like it's
Fuck yeah,
literally,
I know that.
well, and
Yeah.
yeah, and even if you cook and you do exactly what they want, well, they didn't want it after, like they got tired of it halfway through, they changed their mind. That's your fault,
That's
but
literally
that's a
what
whole
happened
other,
last night, dude.
it's a whole other thing.
That's
Damn, not the
literally what,
caramelized onions.
bro, I spent I spent, bro, like I thought, you know,
Oh
let me
no.
make a nice meal yesterday. I thought like let me make a nice meal, like let me put some time into this. So it took me maybe like a total of like about 3 hours to make this really nice pasta. Caramelized onions, Gruyere cheese. I made the pasta from scratch too, by the way. Like, man, I was like kind of needing to burn off some steam yesterday, needing to like put my mind into a project, and usually
Oh
that
my
project's
god.
either producing music or cooking, and lately I haven't really been producing music, so cooking has taken over my list of passions. And
Well,
so
it's the
I'm
only
like,
thing you probably get kudos from, huh?
shit. And so so I'm pouring all this effort in, and
Light work.
first of all, it wasn't done when it was supposed when it like when she wanted it to be. She was like, I'm hangry. I need this pasta. And I'm like, do you not
Look,
see my labor of love that I'm putting into
here's what you
this?
don't understand though, is that you don't realize that when a woman comes home, she expects dinner to be made. And so you as the husband are not doing your job here. You are to provide, support, and fulfill all of her needs even before she needs them. You're to cook, clean, and suck dick. Okay? These are all the things that are required of you. It's a modern man. This is what you have to do. Stay at home husband. This is what we do. Go ahead
Man, I
though.
learned I learned that no dish is worth it if it requires caramelized onion. It's just not. First of all, it looks like dog shit
Oh
when you're
my
making it.
god. What? Sorry, what?
It looks like dog shit when you're making it, first of all.
Bro,
It
it
t
looked
it takes like
it
two and a
looked
half.
terrible. It looked like Del Taco's ground beef, dude.
Dude, you know what? I can't even lie. You're right. You're right.
I was like, this is the man who had like a week and a half autistic argument with me about who could cook better and the
No, I
delicacies of
know I
different
can cook better.
ingredients.
I know I can cook better. And the fact I made caramelized onions, like just because they don't look good doesn't mean they don't taste good. Like they actually do taste really good. Um,
Okay,
look up the
sorry.
photos of look up
Someone's
photos.
defensive.
Well, yeah, hell yeah, I'm defensive because you're now breaking it. You're trying to dag me for saying that you're a better cook or whatever. But look here, I'll fucking pull it up. You go to any caramelized onions, goddamn.
Oh
Uh,
fuck.
hold on, goddamn fucking. caramelized onions, it all looks like dog shit, you know?
No, but those actually look edible. Yours was minced and shit. Like, why was yours so
What are
minced?
you talking about? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Pull up your picture.
Okay, fine. I'll pull my photo right now.
At least the photo you showed us, it looked very minced, dude. But anyway,
No,
I think the point of all of this is just to prove to the audience that you're definitely a Manchurian candidate because of how easily your mind can be reprogrammed into something. Because here we are, minute
oh,
48 or whatever.
you know what? I do see why you thought it was mince. Yeah, I see why you did so.
Because
What I
it's
did
minced.
was I poured, no, they weren't. I poured in some beef broth and I was letting it reduce so it looks kind of mucky and gross. So yeah,
Oh, so you were
the
boiling the onions then in water,
after I caramelized
huh?
them. Anyway,
So getting back to my friend high as fuck in the passenger seat trying to figure out what to eat. He like I mentioned before, he's normally a pretty like certain dude when it comes to food, which is kind of cool because unlike most men, I'm a little bit indecisive. I'm actually more of the woman. I'm like, I don't know what I want. Lately I haven't been, if I have to make a decision with people, it's harder than if I can just pick for myself kind of thing. But oh, hold on. Yo, we're live right now, dog. Say what's up.
What's up, you punk motherfuckers? Fucking dirty ass.
Yo, Hassan says what's up.
on.
But anyway, so my buddy like I said is normally pretty good with the food decisions and shit. So unlike me or unlike most men, I myself am a little bit of a problem like I mentioned. But point of it is just we were trying to figure out what to eat. Minute 10 of 10 minute 10, 20 seconds into it and fucking we decide let's go to Taco Bell. That's what we figured out. We were gonna go to Taco Bell. This was a long time ago. This is when bad decisions were being made. Sorry, you like
But
really.
also, like honestly, on my elitist cooking, I'm better than you bullshit aside, like Taco Bell is one of the best r restaurants of all time. Like,
Okay, so folks, this is exactly what we're talking about here. This is why he thinks he's the better food and analyst than
dude,
but
why just name a better fast food place than Taco Bell, actually.
with options wise or just quality of food.
Oh, obviously there's better like, quality of food. I mean, like when you're high as fuck, like in this situation you're telling me,
Yeah,
right?
like a Wendy's maybe or like a
Where's there a Wendy's
Wait,
nowadays?
actually, this is a great caveat, real quick. So I'm with my buddy Jacob and Hassan, the ones from yesterday, right? I'm with them at the gym and we're
Yeah, you
working
guys
out.
went to Chipotle. I saw that.
Yeah, after the gym, yeah, because
Yeah,
everybody's broke, so we're trying to just struggle meals and shit.
hear
So
that.
anyway,
Especially with avocado prices, them tariffs, dude. I bet you didn't get it with the
fuck
avocado.
no, I didn't. I just got beans and meat. I couldn't even afford to get the free rice. But nah, it was funny because there's this dude that works at the gym. I mean, he's chill. This is not to like talk shit on him, but it's just to show how funny and hypocritical people can be, right? Um, we're talking about what to eat because we had just finished the workout, and so Jacob like initiates the conversation with the worker, and the dude's like, "Oh, blah blah blah. Like I mostly only cook. I eat super healthy nowadays, bro. Like I never eat fast food." He's like, "Yeah, like all that shit's unhealthy." Blah, and he basically spends the next like 5.5 minutes talking about how like quality. It sounds like RFK, right? Like literally, like make America healthy again, kind of shit. And at the end of it, well, during the whole thing, I'm looking at his meal because he had a breakfast tray in front of him, right? And it looks like plastic sausage, like a half cooked hash brown, and some like rubber eggs. And I was like looking at it, and I couldn't tell where it was from because it's just like a black tray with a clear lid.
Yeah.
But when he finishes his little spiel, I was like, "Oh, that's dope." I was like, "So what's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's this is just breakfast." And I was like, "Oh, well, like what is it though?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's like eggs and sausage and hash brown." And I'm like, "Oh, well, isn't that
It's
like
a it's a full English.
yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Isn't that like half the shit you said was bad for you or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Where's it from?" And he just like literally just stopped. He like looked at me just so he was like staring me down. He was so mad because I'm asking in front of like
Dude. Bro,
Take
bro says, "Yeah, I'm just trying to eat light and eat more healthy." Pulls out this little ditty, you know.
yeah, literally, dude. Add some hash browns. That was it. Get rid of the tomatoes. Add the hash browns. That was it. So no, and that shit looks healthier. Like this shit, when you find out where it's from, you'll understand why I was looking at it and wondering like if it would survive a nuclear like holocaust. You know what I mean? So fucking yeah, so I'm like, where is it from? And this is in front of my friends, in front of another front desk worker. This guy's like a trainer, and in front of like another girl trainer that the dude was apparently trying to smash that I found out later. And so I like embarrassed him or whatever, but it was like a whole thing. So he goes, "Oh, it's like Jack in the Box." And I was like,
Jack in the Box?
yes, yes. I was like, Jack in the Box? That's the worst of them all.
Dude, they like ladle in trans fats into their shit.
Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure they just like catch rabbits and raccoons and fucking possums outside, and that's
With
whatever the
rabies.
sausage is.
With rabies, yeah.
Yes. They don't even bother to cook it out. They just say it's flavor. Mm,
Oh my
my
God. Did you let
God.
him have it or what?
No, oh my God. That was all that needed to be said because as soon as you said that, everybody busted out laughing like hard. I didn't even mean to embarrass him that bad. I was legitimately like, I was like 75% curious, 25% like, bro, you got it right in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna talk shit on something, don't have it right in front of you. Like, if you ate it that morning and you're lying about it, that's one thing. But like, you're literally like still finishing the meal while you're telling people how to eat healthy. I thought that shit was
But
so funny.
all right, but in this situation where you're in the car with your friend and you're fucking high as shit, I think that Taco Bell is the best
Sure.
mood food. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
all I was trying to say.
Yes, because the go-to Taco Bell meal back in the day was the 5-layer beefy burrito. It was like three of those. It was like a Crunchwrap Supreme. It was a
100%.
Baja Blast, and then the cinnamon twist. I always got a couple of those to top it off.
Perfect.
Just
That's a 10 out of 10 order, bro.
right.
For
And
real.
I mean, 8,000 calories, 400 grams of sugar, but you were happy. That's all that mattered.
400 grams of sugar, diabetes.
Diabetes on the
If you
corner.
were pre-diabetic, it's
Yep.
putting you post-diabetic, that
No.
meal,
Oh
you know what I'm
yeah. You
saying?
were you were over LDL levels, the whole thing, dude.
Right.
So
Takes
cholesterol
you
was
like a
over.
calendar year to work it off if you're someone like me, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah.
some people like him never work it off, as we can see. But anyway, just kidding, folks, kidding. No, all jokes aside, Andrew has gotten a lot healthier. I'm very proud of him.
Dude, I've been going to the gym every single day
Well,
for
that doesn't show, but it does look like you're
at
eating
least no,
healthier.
bro, come
So,
on. Give me some credit, bro. I've been
huh?
going every day for at least 30 minutes. It's
Well,
not
going to
enough,
the gym and taking
but
pictures and taking a piss and dipping out of there is not
I don't
necessary.
take photos. I don't take photos at the gym. I'm too
Fair
fat to
enough.
take photos at the
I
gym.
think we're getting off topic here. You're clearly on your man period this week, so I'm gonna stop making fun of you. I don't want to insult you further. Everything I've said so far has either cut you to your core or insulted your family lineage, and so I
That's
I
true.
prefer
Yeah,
not to.
I've been a bit of a sensitive bitch this week, I feel
I,
like, huh?
I prefer to just be on your side here. So let's finish this story about my buddy high as
You
fuck
look
on
good,
Taco
Andrew.
Bell.
You look fine.
Yes, you do. You look pretty. I like the hat. It looks great. You do have a great hairline. I just like fucking with you. You know what I mean? Your hair is my favorite feature, and your eyes are very beautiful. The blue looks nice on you. Okay, don't let
The
anybody
dude,
tell you
hey,
otherwise. I swear, that's the prettiest thing. That's everything that I've ever thought about you. It's just your eyes.
everything. Yeah, everything. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
all
definitely
right.
not your neck beard or your neck. Anyway, so I'm just kidding.
Dude.
We're done. We're done. We're done. Okay, so now I'm getting my dog hyped. So he's all pissed. So my buddy, we're on the way to Taco Bell. We're at the red light. Like we've made 3 turns. We've made a turn to get to the main road. We made a turn onto the main road, and then we made a turn to get to a light. And so we're at a light. This is like maybe minute 12, okay, of since he's blown this smoke out. And I know my buddy, and I'm pretty good. Like I mentioned the last podcast and how I was reading or whatever. Like I'm pretty good at the energy. Some people are good with reading energies. I'm pretty good with the energy. I can kind of tell if you're happy, sad, in the middle, whatever. I usually, and at the very least, I know something, is off or whatever, right? So I can kind of tell my buddy's like slipping down the rabbit hole a little bit, Alice in Wonderland style, right? And he's kind
Right,
of
yeah, yeah. You
starting
can
to,
tell you might need a little bit of attention pretty soon.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I was letting him kind of take a couple of stumbles, but I wasn't gonna let him fall too far because obviously I wanted him to not have an existential crisis.
of course.
So I start to talk
And
to
you're
him.
and to be fair, like I know this has just been a roast show on me, but you're a really great person to get high with because you don't do the thing where you're like your mom knows you're high right now, or like you don't
That
do
would
the
be
thing
funny.
where you're like, oh my God, imagine if your work had to just do a random test. Like
Yeah, like
you don't
what?
say shit like that ever. Like you're very comfortable like
Thank you.
guy.
Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah.
boomer, or I mean, like I let my boomerism out of me very early.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah. Oh, it's something negative that you don't know right now. Let me just highlight it for you. Sorry, that could
Yeah,
be a
yeah. Hey,
fun
did
show
you ever
too.
know that your nose is a little bit big?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you
Yeah.
didn't, you should now. But not too big. It's just something that you just notice. It's no big deal. Everybody has something. You know what I mean?
One time I had a friend that said to us, but we were like ridiculously high. He goes, "You know that thing that they always say that no one's ever died on weed?"
Yeah.
And
Hey,
we were
pause it
like,
real quick.
"Yeah,
Can you pause it?
yeah."
Where?
So anyway, so I had a friend that said during one time when we were like all ridiculously high and I was in my like I can't fucking breathe like paranoia type shit. He says to us, he goes, "Hey, you know that fact about how, weed has never killed anyone before? Like it's never like killed anyone?" Um and we were all like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, there was a death yesterday." Just to freak us all out, which was which was nuts. So
Bro,
yeah.
literally, like raised by a
But you're not
boomer.
like that, which is
Is
good, you know?
thank God, but used to negativity. I mean, like, god damn, those are the worst people, dude.
I
You
know.
those are the worst people to do anything with because they're just like it's just misery loves company, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be funny, but it's because they're so fucking cringe too, they can't even help it, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. All right. So sorry, we keep derailing the story. I want to hear how this
Oh,
ends here.
this is the longest but certainly the greatest story that may have ever been told on this podcast to date, and except for maybe the Taylor Bevan one, he's pretty nuts. But anyway, so my buddy Nick, we're high in the car. Well, I'm not high; he's high. I didn't smoke allegedly. I'm driving, of course. So,
Sure, of
um,
course.
but I'm basically at this point where I notice that he's gonna need a talking to. So I reach over and fucking turn up the heat a little bit on him because he's kind of like shivering. So I like turned up the heat to get him a little more like relaxed, right, comfortable, get the climate right. And when I say turn up the heat, I mean like 72 or something. I don't mean like fucking 80 or whatever, 85 with the window down kind of thing. So um he starts to like kind of like bro. And I'm like, it's okay, dude. Whatever's going on in there, it's okay. We're gonna get to this Taco Bell. You're gonna get this food that you've been thinking about, and you're not gonna be able to think because you're gonna be too busy being present with this food. Everything's gonna be okay. And I'm about to repeat, everything's gonna be okay. So I start to say everything's gonna, and as soon as I say that, like a scene in a movie, you hear sirens whizzing by like 100 mile an hour, three of them, boom, 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 right? Immediately, a spotlight in the middle of the road. There's a helicopter. A full blown fucking chase is happening right in front of us. Bro, I couldn't make it up. This man went full, bro, we gotta fucking go, bro. Oh my God, the fucking cops, bro, they're gonna fucking get it. Like freaking the fuck out, right? So legitimately thought the cops were gonna turn around and rip his ass out of the car for just being high, right? Panic. Like the devil himself was driving that fucking vehicle. So, I mean, the fucking in the moment, I'm like, all right, the best thing to do is just turn around and get to Taco Bell a different way because it was like I mentioned, it's like kind of a main road thing. If you ever come down here, I'll show you. But basically, it's like fucking. They're going down the main road. If I go down some side roads and some streets, we can cut around, and basically like not have to see them again. They'll be long gone, right? So
My
I'm
God, that's so funny.
starting to cut through these roads. We're backtracking. It takes about another 3 or 4 minutes, maybe five, to get to another signal where we're about to turn and go towards the Taco Bell, but from kind of like behind it now. We went a different direction. And he's starting to finally chill out because he realizes there's no cops in front of us and everything's okay. And I didn't crash. We're all alive. Everybody's breathing, so things are like starting to feel normal.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then at this light, the exact same car chase came by again. I'm not, I wish I was making this up. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I swear to God, dude. Like, if he comes on the podcast, he will tell you this exact story, and it would be funny from his perspective too. But like the exact story, I'm telling you, the exact same car chase went whizzing right by us again. Boom, 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 boom. Like helicopter, the whole thing, right? Only it's chaos this time because now there's like 7 cop cars.
Oh my God, dude, that's so funny. And he's just like the highest he's ever been, just had not having a great time.
The
And like the
highest.
worst thing you could see is he probably thought they were coming out to get him, right? Yeah.
Bro, the highest he's ever been. He literally thought that they called in reinforcements to come get him.
Because
He
he was
thought
so
that.
high.
No, because he's so high, he didn't. Okay, so to be fair, the first time neither of us noticed the lead car because to be fair, it just whizzed by. Like it didn't have a
Right.
loud engine. It might have been like a Tesla or something. I don't even know, but it was something it was fast, but it wasn't loud. It wasn't super loud where you hear like a fucking Corvette or something scream by, right? Like it wasn't, or a
Yeah.
Hellcat or whatever. Like it wasn't like that. So that's why I kind of didn't, when I'm looking over at him and telling him the first time that everything's okay, I kind of didn't really process that a car going through the intersection was going like really fast because again, just like not loud. It was only when the cop car started like whizzing by and I like the sound of the siren and how quick it passed me. That's how fast I knew they were going. Does that make sense? So like
That's so good, dude.
right. So the first time we both missed it, but the second time I see the lead car and I forget what it was, but it was some sort of like little like Civics, hybrid or like a Tesla looking or like a whatever, but it wasn't like a engine car, right? So it was something electric or hybrid. Point is that it's screamed by. He missed it again because he's still freaking out about the first time and because he hears the sirens again and he's like, oh. So he didn't realize that they're not chasing him, they're chasing the other car. So when like the first 3 went by, he's like panicking because like I mentioned, there's 4 more because there's like 7 or 8 of them now. Like they're just coming. So they're like, and they're not coming at the same time. There's like, voo, 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 like kind of slower paced, right? So he has more time to panic. So all this is happening, and I'm laughing because I'm like, Jesus Christ, you can't make this up. Knowing full well that like in the middle of a high speed pursuit, the cop's not going to just like happen to look to the left and be like, that guy's high in a
Oh,
car and
oh
like stop.
fuck. That guy just took
Yeah,
a slingshot.
yeah. Oh, that guy over there is his first night smoking. This motherfucker took a Benjamin hit. I can tell.
We need to
Yeah, no,
arrest him. We need to arrest him.
right.
Yeah.
Like, but when you're high, you don't necessarily have that
Yeah, you
that
can't put two and two together. Yeah, I
right
know.
that rationale, that frame of mind, and so um anyway, so that shit passes again, and I'm cracking up. And so because I'm like, I'm not gonna get pulled over, all the cops are going that way. I make like a semi illegal change lanes from a left lane turn to a right lane and got over, right? So we just go a completely other way again. So we're at the Taco Bell now. We're ordering. Everything's fine. He's like freaking out because he forgot his wallet. I'm like, don't worry, bro. They invented Apple Pay. This is like right when it came out. I'm like, I got you. I didn't even need the wallet. It's on my phone. We're chilling, right? So I pay for the food. He gets his Baja Blast. I get mine. We take a couple sips. As most people know, if you take that first couple sips of Baja Blast, it is equivalent to heroin. It's got
That's
to
right.
be like, it's got to be the closest thing to that cool black
Yeah, yeah.
gel just
Your
seeping through
body
your
ices
veins.
over and you realize how you'd throw it all away for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and you immediately start convulsing and I mean potentially masturbating and just whatever
Sometimes
happens
both,
happens.
actually, at the same
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Sometimes one is like a result of the other, but or
Sometimes like sometimes you sort of like put your mouth to the straw but don't take it yet just to get yourself
right. Yeah.
excited.
It's like you
Yeah.
do like one of those things
You
where
like edge you
you
like
put your
edge
finger
the
on the top of it and you hold it in the
yeah.
straw and then you
You
take the
hold it,
straw
but
out,
you
drop
don't
it
do
in.
it. Yeah, no, but you don't do it. You just like edge yourself on the Baja Blast,
Oh man.
Yeah.
We keep talking about this. I'm gonna need to get a Baja Blast.
Fuck, I might just have to you do I might
I'm
just have to cook and DoorDash one.
wait, they have a new flavor. That's right, huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look this up real quick before we finish the story because they do have a new fucking. It's like a new like ultra Baja Blast or some crazy shit. It's like a reddish maroon.
Oh yeah, new Blast flavor. God,
Come on,
new Baja Blast flavor.
Jesus.
First time in 2025.
Yeah, what is this Baja Midnight? Look at that.
Baja Blast Midnight.
I mean,
Wow.
it's like Tim said with the fucking what was that Shakey's or whatever that restaurant was where they're doing just nothing but fucking like Starbucks like drinks instead of the food.
Oh
Remember
well,
that?
it's McDonald's Cosmics,
Cosmics.
I
They're just
believe.
inventing new
Yeah,
ways to kill us. This is what he's right. You know, this is exactly what this is.
it is.
This is, I mean, look up the nutrition facts. Are they out yet? Let's see.
Let's see. Baja Blast
Midnight.
Midnight Nutrition.
Yeah. Well, good luck finding that on the regular Baja Blast, let alone this brand new Midnight. Let's see. Nutrition. Nutrition. Come on, dude. Jesus Christ. He said, 44 grams of sugar. Holy shit. And 59 of, I mean, to
This
be
isn't
honest,
bad.
that's
This isn't
that's kind
bad.
of, no, that's terrible, by the way. You shouldn't have that much sugar in a day, let alone in one drink. Anyway, so
Oh shit, really?
yeah, it's terrible for you. Sugar's the worst, dude. But that's a whole other RFK episode. So, um, anyway, we're sitting here consuming this like 800 calorie meal or 8,000 calorie meal rather, and you know, we're driving back and everything's smooth. And as we're driving home, one of the cops, potentially from the chase, but also could just be from the city, was parked with its lights off, like in like go mode. You know how they do that where they kind of post up, they're like, go ahead, speed so I can turn my lights on kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, they're like on the prowl. They're waiting.
Right.
Yeah,
This was back when entrapment was a gray area where they didn't have to sit with their lights on and shit. They could kind of like, you know, be like, oh yeah, well, I mean, what am I gonna do? Not pull someone over just because I didn't have my lights on? Like, you know, they could kind of make that argument. Um,
yeah.
so anyway, he's sitting there and my buddy doesn't notice. And so it's kind of like when you're on a walk with your dog and your dog's like really bad with other dogs, but he doesn't see that there's another dog coming and he's being really chill. And dog owners will know what I'm talking about here. It's like a thing. And especially if they're across the street or something like that and like they don't notice right away, you're like praying that they don't notice. But there's this like primal feeling that you start to get where you feel like I'm gonna start to have to react here any moment. I'm gonna have to react in a
Because
second.
you know he's gonna see it.
He's gonna eventually see it. He's gonna bark. I'm gonna have to pull the leash, pick him up, do something, basically to like tell him like we're okay. You know, like you're not
Right.
gonna bark at this
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
But it's this like primal, like you almost put off like a scent of fear, and the dog gets it. He gets a wind, just gets a whiff of it, and goes, "My owner's scared. Why?" Right?
Why? Yeah,
And just
yeah, yeah.
immediately. So that's kind of what happened with my buddy. So we're like riding in the car and I see the cop, but he doesn't. And he's stuffing his face with the food. I don't even care that he's making a mess to this point. He's making crumbs and shit everywhere. I literally don't even care. I'm just letting him have his little high self a good time.
Right. Just
And
like, yeah, well, like you're calm down, you're in a good place. Yeah.
right, right. And so I'm like kind of doing the thing where it's like you're in the boat with the kids and like you know what I mean, and like the boat's sinking, but you got to like play games and distract them to get them to not realize that you're gonna die soon, kind of thing. So he picks up on that feeling, whichever one you relate to more, folks, the dog or the boat, but he picks up on that feeling and he immediately like just zeroes in on it. I don't know how. Like just full like Neo in the Matrix or like Daredevil when he put the fucking blindfold on, you know what I'm talking about? Just like he could see
Oh
through
shit.
times like time zones, like timelines and shit, right? So he was like cop 32, white male, definitely gonna arrest us. Like literally like full blown, he had the fucking predator like analyzer, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, right. He turned into the NSA right
yeah,
there.
Spy
Yeah.
Kids, exactly,
Spy
exactly.
kids.
Yeah. So he's freaking out and immediately he just starts doing the thing you're not supposed to do and immediately starts like fucking moving around and freaking out in the car and trying to like hide the food like that's contraband or something. Like I'm like, bro,
Oh man,
like
he was.
you're allowed to eat in the car. I'm telling him like trying to be logical with him while he's like still doing the thing. So it's a whole scene in the car. And then he like in the middle of him like moving his trash bags or something, he bumps the overhead light. So now the light's on in the car. So we're just riding down
That's
the
not
street.
good for him.
Right. We're riding down the street. We're literally passing the cop car, right? Like cop car,
With the overnight light
light
on.
just turned on. So if he wasn't looking, now he is. And he sees a guy like in one side, like fucking doing like fucking, like tutting or whatever the fuck. And then he sees me like fucking, doing this thing, like telling him like, chill the fuck out and shit. And then there's just a light on and it's just chaos. And I'm probably swerving a little bit, maybe not a lot, but a little bit. So the cop pulled out.
Oh no.
So I'm just like, bro, I got into dad mode. I was like, bro, shut the fuck up, turn the light off, chill. Right? Like I was just like, chill. We're gonna get pulled over. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Like, let's breathe, right? So we're fucking driving. The cops like on us, right? Lights.
He's sweating bullets probably at this point.
Dude, I
You're
mean, if his dick wasn't inside of him already, it is to the now, right? Like he doesn't even need the band-aid to hold it in place. That motherfucker is firmly grasped between his cheeks at this point. It's probably protruding out the other side like a hemorrhoid at this point. Let's be real. So that's a good visual for the folks. But anyway, this cop follows us home the whole time. So the entire time, Nick's just shitting a bullet or shitting a brick, excuse me. And I'm trying to play it cool, you got to do all the full stops, you got to play it cool at the red light when there's 3 lanes around you and he's just directly behind you, and like it kind of, maybe he had the light on, maybe he didn't, but it kind of looked like he was looking in for a second, like he kind of did like one of the quick little like swipe across. So anyway, luckily we safely made it back to the house. And in making it back to the house, the cop drives by, leaves us alone, and he's probably running the plates, saw that there was really nothing, of note, and just said, all right, I'm gonna leave these guys alone. They're two, one's white for sure, because I looked at his license, right? The car. The other one, I don't know what he is, but whatever, probably white too. Bald
he's with
for
the white
sure.
guy, so I'll give him
Yeah.
a pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So um anyway, so we make it back to the house, and Nick's, starting to come back to presence of mind, and he's starting to breathe a little more, and he's starting to sound more rational, and he's kind of saying things like, oh, like maybe Hillary didn't kill all those people and stuff, and I'm like, no, you're being irrational again.
Hey, come on,
It
reel it
came,
back, dude.
yeah, it was kind of like a spectrum, he dipped in and out of reality for a little bit there, and it was a pendulum rather, and so he started to finally come to, and he said what he had to make a change. Basically, he's like, thinking about that, being in the car with you, and being high and worrying about getting pulled over by the cops, made me realize that if I ever have to run from the police one day, that I could never do it in my car because I have too much shit in there, because I'm low key a hoarder. So it comes full circle for the group. So he decided, after having this
Wow.
entire existential crisis, that the most important key next step for him was to relinquish a lot of his shit and become less of a hoarder.
Wow.
So the moral of the story for everybody listening at home is Andrew just needs to get his girlfriend really high one night, take her on a drive, and pray to God that San Francisco's Goodbye.